From the earliest moments of our lives, we are subtly fed an idea so deeply rooted in our culture that it becomes nearly invisible. The belief that someone out there will one day arrive to make us whole. Stories, songs, films, even casual advice reinforce this message. That love is the answer to our longing. That another person will complete the puzzle of our soul. But what if this story is not just false, but harmful? What if the very idea that wholeness lies outside of us is the reason why so many relationships turn into battlegrounds of unmet needs, expectations, and disappointments? Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers of the modern age, saw through this illusion with piercing clarity. He taught us that the journey to completeness does not begin with finding the right partner, but with confronting what lies within ourselves. This is the essence of individuation, a transformative inner process where you cease to search for healing in others and start to uncover the hidden forces that truly shape your life. Deep within the human psyche, Jung discovered two powerful archetypes: the anima and the animus. These inner figures represent the unconscious feminine aspect in a man and the unconscious masculine aspect in a woman. When these inner energies go unrecognized, they exert a silent but immense influence over our relationships. A man may chase after an idealized woman, not for who she truly is, but as a projection of his anima. A woman, guided unknowingly by her animus, may see men not as individuals, but as symbols of control, authority, or salvation. These projections distort reality. They compel us to engage with fantasies, not with people. And as long as these energies remain unconscious, our relationships are not grounded in truth, but in illusion. When we do not confront these inner forces, we become trapped in a relentless cycle. We seek love outside to fix what feels broken inside. We enter relationships hoping they will erase our pain, validate our worth, or make us feel whole. But inevitably, the illusion cracks. The partner cannot live up to the fantasy. Disappointment sets in, and we tell ourselves that we simply chose the wrong person. So we repeat the cycle, again and again, collecting heartbreaks while convincing ourselves that true love remains just out of reach. But love hasn't failed us. We have mistaken need for love, projection for connection, fantasy for reality. And until we understand this, no relationship will ever feel enough. True transformation begins when we stop looking outward and begin turning inward. When we sit in silence, not to numb or distract ourselves, but to meet the parts of us we've long ignored. This journey, the journey of individuation, is not about becoming the best version of yourself in the eyes of the world. It's about becoming whole in your own eyes. It's about reclaiming the lost fragments of your psyche, the shadow, the wounded child, the repressed emotions, the denied desires. It is here, in the inner wilderness, that we meet the anima and the animus, no longer as hidden saboteurs, but as potential guides. When integrated, the anima brings to a man emotional depth, creativity, and empathy. The animus, when made conscious in a woman, awakens confidence, clarity, and assertiveness. But this integration is not easy. It demands that we face everything we've been running from. It asks us to give up the comforting lie that someone else will fix our lives. Because the truth is, no one is coming to save you. And that's not a tragedy. That's liberation. When you begin to integrate these inner forces, something remarkable happens. You stop expecting others to play roles they never agreed to. You stop needing your partner to be your parent, your therapist, your savior. Love, then, transforms. It is no longer about possession or dependence. It becomes a conscious act, an invitation to walk beside someone, not in the hope that they will complete you, but in the joy of shared growth. Real love starts not when two people need each other, but when they no longer need to use each other to fill an internal void. It begins when both have begun to walk the path of individuation on their own and choose to journey together. This love does not come with grand promises or fairy tale endings. It comes with presence, with truth, with the courage to see the other not as a dream, but as they truly are. Awakening to this truth is not comfortable. It means abandoning everything you were taught to believe about love. It means sitting with your own emptiness and realizing that no partner, no romance, no external validation will ever fill it. But this emptiness is not a curse. It is a doorway. It is the space where your soul calls out to be seen. It is the beginning of your real relationship. Not with someone else, but with yourself.
Relationships in this light are no longer about filling gaps. They become sacred mirrors. Each interaction reflects what is alive or unresolved within you. When you feel invisible in a relationship, ask yourself, have I been ignoring my own needs, my own voice? When you feel unheard, ask, have I truly been listening to the deeper parts of myself? When you keep attracting the same painful patterns, ask, what part of me is still projecting an old story onto new faces? Jung taught that every projection is a chance for self-discovery. Every disappointment is a message from your soul. Look within. There comes a point when you must decide. Will you continue chasing illusions, hoping someone else will do the inner work for you? Or will you begin the courageous path of self-confrontation? The moment you stop blaming others for your pain, that is the moment healing begins. The day you stop waiting to be chosen and instead choose yourself. That is when you begin to truly live. The instant you stop seeking completion in someone else and start becoming whole within. That is when love stops being a fantasy and starts becoming real. Individuation is not a destination. It is a lifelong journey, a spiral, not a straight line. You will fall, you will doubt, you will want to turn back. But each step brings you closer to yourself. You begin to reconcile opposites within you. Strength with vulnerability, intellect with intuition, light with shadow. You no longer live split between who you are and who you pretend to be. As you evolve, so do your relationships. They become less about control and more about connection. Less about fixing each other and more about witnessing each other. This is what it means to truly meet another human being. Not from lack, but from presence. Not from fantasy, but from wholeness. If anything in this message stirred something in you, it means you are already on the path. The part of you that is tired of illusions, tired of repetition, tired of pain, that part is ready to wake up. But waking up is just the beginning. Now the real work begins, to descend into your own depths, to reclaim your lost parts, to meet your shadow not with fear, but with understanding, to bring light to the places you've kept in darkness. No one can walk this journey for you, but you are not alone. We think our armor keeps us safe, but it also keeps us stuck. Protects us from pain, sure, but also from love, growth, connection. Wearing armor too long, you forget what it's like to feel the sun on your skin. You forget how to move freely, trust fully, breathe deeply. You weren't built to brace for impact every day. You were made to feel it all. The fear, the joy, the beauty of being fully, messily human. And yes, that's terrifying, especially vulnerability. But it's also the only place where real connection lives. Real breakthroughs, real peace. You've probably noticed people who seem the most free aren't the ones hiding behind walls. they're the ones who had the courage to take them down. Because that's the paradox. Freedom feels scary, but it's the only place where you finally meet yourself. And when you do, you realize the safety net you've been clinging to was never real. Control is an illusion. Plans change. Expectations disappoint. But you remain. Each step you take inward brings you closer to a life rooted in truth, a love born of presence, a soul that no longer seeks salvation in others, but shares its fullness freely. Maybe strength isn't in holding tight. Maybe it's in loosening your grip, letting the pieces fall where they may, trusting that you will rise, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. You no longer need to be half of anything. You are already whole. And the more you live from that truth, the more your life and your love will begin to reflect it. This is the power of individuation. This is the gift of turning within. So keep going. Your soul is not interested in shortcuts. It is calling you back home to yourself.